Hello, 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 hello. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Crack Edges Speak. My name is Annette Reed. Thank you for being here. Wherever you're watching from, just let me know in the comment section wherever you are. I thank you for joining us. I thank you for being here. I thank you for talking about crack edges. Some of you are talking about crack edges. And also sharing as usual, and even on my personal page, so I thank you so much for that. I appreciate every one of you who stopped by, and send a word of kindness and encouragement. So tonight's episode, let's get to it. Right? Let's get to it right now. By the way, how's your Monday? I'm forgetting my manners. I hope you had a wonderful Monday so far. It's kind of hot here in New York. I don't want to complain, because winter is not that far away, right? Even though we have to get through summer. So I hope you had a pleasant Monday, and thanks for stopping by and watching me here on Crack Edges. And remember to click like, share this page. We're still in our building stages, and I need you, to help make this happen and to help make this grow, because Crack Edges has a future, a big future. This is just the start of it. When you plant a seed, right, and you water it. So we're in the watering stages right now, here online with that. So thank you so much. Tonight, I want to talk about, this is more geared towards women, but it goes for men also, but it gears towards women because a lot of times women are the ones that are left in this position. And tonight I want to talk about minding your financial life. We talk about minding your emotional life all the time. I want to talk about minding your financial life, setting up yourself for your future, your old age, your retirement, because in the past few months, I've been having some conversations with women that are older, right? And I am also a woman of a certain age, and I have experienced something that had I not been smart, strong enough, creative, hardworking, I always talk about my work ethic. I mean, nobody can match me and my work ethic. And if I didn't have those, I probably would be, living out of a cardboard box in New York with my child. If I were not, that person, to get up and have the drive to rebuild my life. Because what I had to do is rebuild something that was already built. Right? It was already built. Now, when I was growing up in Jamaica, I would always hear that promises are a comfort to a fool. Some of you may remember that. A promise is a comfort to a fool. Now, we can say it and joke around, about that. But as we move through life and we get older and we start to make certain life decisions, a lot of us choose to partner up, whether you partner through marriage, you partner through having a life partner, you partner through having a common law person, whatever you call it, you decide to partner up with somebody, right? And when you partner up with that person, sometimes as women, especially if you have children, your family, you become the caregiver, and a lot of times you lean on the partner, which more than not is a man. You lean on that person to take care of your future needs. Sometimes as a woman, you stay home, so therefore you're working from home, taking care of your kid, the children, taking care of your family, all right? And you're betting on the partner to make sure that you are okay in your later years. That's what I'm talking. That's where I'm going, in the later years, right? And a lot of times that's not what happened. A lot of times that's not what happened. You can plant a garden with somebody and you don't get to reap it. You can. I am following this thread on the internet, and it's primarily women. And when I read their stories, some of it is so sad. But when I look at their pictures, when I look at their photographs, they are older women. They are older women, and some of them have found themselves into a place where they do not have anything in the bank for their future. They do not. They're divorced, they're separated, whatever happens, they are left with nothing. They have the children, they may get some child support, but that's not enough. And as you know, children cost a lot. Their needs are plenty. So when I read those stories, and I think about when I was growing up in Jamaica, there was, a neighbor of ours, she's been deceased a long time ago. But when I was growing up, a small child, somewhere early teens, whatever, I would hear her cry all the time about the husband that left her, but she never cried about him. She never really cried over him. She always cried about the woman who went to her garden to reap what she planted, because she was a farmer with her husband. And she would always cry about the woman who, after she would leave her farm or her garden or her grung, as we call it in Jamaica, that woman would tiptoe behind her back, because her husband was having an affair, and would wait for that woman at the garden, the grung where she's farming, right? And then would go dig her produce, load it up in her basket, and go home. And at the time, she was sending her daughter to nursing school. So it got so bad, the husband eventually left, and it got so bad that she had to leave country and go into the city and get a job as a domestic worker to put her daughter through school and let her finish nursing school. Now, the pain of not being able to provide for her daughter's education seemed to me greater than the pain of losing the man, because she never really cried over him. I don't remember. She may have mentioned his name a few times, but she always mentioned the fact that her produce, that she tilled the soil and she watched over, and she was waiting for it to go to market to pay for her daughter. That was being reaped by someone else who did not plant anything, right? And here is a woman. She is a woman doing this to take care of her family, right? And this is happening to her. Another woman comes in to reap. Now, a lot of people will watch this now and say, oh, don't blame the woman, because if the man didn't do this, do that, whatever. Listen, we have a part to play in what we do. We have a part to play in it. There is accountability for us as women, as sisterhood, that if you see a woman going somewhere, right, and she has a life, and you look at it and you it looks good from the outside, it's something that you would want, that you don't weasel your way in there just because you can, and then say, but I don't have any responsibility to it, because if the man didn't, I don't have a contract with the man. No, but you have some responsibilities in it. I will not give, not myself, not other women, a pass who would do something like that, right? So not every woman is in this position. And what I'm talking about tonight is not for every woman. Now, some of you have careers, you're teachers, you're nurses, you're good. You're looking forward to your retirement, and you're going to have your nest egg, that you've worked so hard for, and you're good, right? You're independent. You've always been independent and you've taken care of yourself. But not every woman is in that position. Not every woman was in that position, especially a woman of a certain age who decided I will, or together with a partner, decides that we will take care of the children, right? To take care of the children. So, if you are the woman who has your pension set and you know where you're going after you retire, great. But this is not for you. This is for those women that have been in that situation and for the young ones that are coming up. Because a lot of times we don't think about our old age when we're at a certain age because we think we're going to live forever. We know it says 70, but right now we're like in our 30s and our 20s, we're gallivanting, and we're not thinking about our retirement, but we should really start thinking about it early and start planning for it early and make sure we secure it early, that no matter what happens and what comes into our lives, that this is secure for us, right? No matter what happens, because somebody comes into your life, can leave. And then what's going to happen to you? All right. So this is not for you. Now, I myself, at this age, I never thought that I would be at this age where I am really working so hard to secure certain things for myself, because I was in a position where I was good. I was set. Our future was set. We had a financial planner who came in to make sure that we are okay for the future, right? And I made a critical misstep. Critical misstep. And that is after 9/11, I left Manhattan because I'd gotten laid off from work and I was working this temp to perm job with the federal government. And when 9/11 happened, I said, listen, I'm out of Manhattan. I'm done with Manhattan. I've been in there for a while. And to be honest with you, I felt a little scared that day because I was so close to what happened at the World Trade Center. If anybody is aware of where the World Trade Center is to where 55 Water Street is, you know that it's just within walking distance. And that's where I was. When the building shook, I felt it. So that day I decided that I was going to leave Manhattan and go pursue what I wanted to do, which was to teach English. I've always wanted to teach English. I love, creative writing. I love to tell stories. I love to use, just words to create, sentences and tell stories and be descriptive and get someone in. I love to do those things. So I said, okay, I will go back and do what I need to do. And at the time, the critical misstep that I made at the time, and it would come later on, was I decided instead of going on the path that I was on for myself, I decided to come and build a family business. A family business that didn't protect me. What I had were promises. I had promises. If you come, you will get this. And if you come, you will get that. And because this was my family, and because I was working hard, and then my child came, I think I lowered my guard and became as secure as you can feel in any situation. When you talk about doing good, we were doing good, right? In any situation. So I kind of sat back and I said, okay, the future looks bright. I don't know how long I'm going to live, but the future looks bright. I had 14 years before I partnered up where I figured out some things for myself. I had every week I would go to the bank, I would do a holiday club account, I would do the numbers. Like if I start doing this, by the time I hit 65, I would have X amount in the bank. If I work this career, then I would have this pension. If I do this, then I would have that. If I buy properties and then rent them and then sell them later on, then I would get that. It looks great. Right? It looks great. But by the time I hit 50, by the time I hit 50, I saw certain things and I said, if I don't, you kind of reshuffle the deck. If I don't stop and think about myself more, I am going to be left out in the cold. I saw a shift in my life because one of the things you have to understand is that there are some people on the outside, women on the outside, that don't want to build anything from the ground up. They don't. They're looking for somebody who's already established to attach themselves to, right? And they don't care who is going to get hurt by it, who is going to be deprived of it, who is going to be pained by it. They don't care. What they care is there is something here that I want, and the gate is wide open. And if I just shove myself in there, right, and do what I need to do, I will get that. And that is what happened to me. And because I was not the one with the city pension, I was not the one with the bigger income, I was not the one I was not the one going to that job. I was the one making the sacrifices. I always see something, a vision. I always see it bigger. Like, how can we build this bigger? So when I came and I left my personal independent life, so to speak, to come and build a family business, all that was in my head was, we are going to build it bigger. That's what I saw. Everything we have was right here, right? The business was right here. The kind of business was right here. We are going to build it bigger. And we did. We started building it bigger. And I said, you know what? We can build this thing into $1 million business. That's what I saw. And that is where my head was. That is where my heart was. That is where my energy was. Every part of me was laser focused on us building something bigger and making sure that we're okay for our old age. I was about us. I was about us. I can share this with you tonight because I'm at a place where I understand that I made the mistake. I learned the lesson. Where I am today, it's looking good. It's looking very good. And I am not going to give up any part of myself so easily where somebody decides, where I go, when I eat, where I sleep, right? That is not going to happen. When I leave New York, I know where I'm going. I may not know exactly right now, but I know when I leave, I know those decisions will be made by me. They will be made by me. And nobody's going to come in here to let me start over again. I can't start over again. I cannot. So as women, we have to think about that, because when we are in the midst of something that looks great, we don't think it can change. We don't think, whatever we build can fall apart or get pulled down. And when it does, what is going to happen to us? What's going to happen to us? Some people can't pick themselves up that quickly. Some people never pick themselves up. When I was reading, some of the women's stories today, some of them years later never pick themselves up. You see depression, you see sadness, you see, even though they're raising their children and doing the best they can, they feel lost. They feel like they don't have a purpose because their purpose was their family. And they were feeling secure and feeling dependent, on the union that they had, right, to get them into their old age. Now there are women in their 50s, 40s, thinking about what happened to me and how do I move forward? I mean, some of them know what happened, but how do you move forward from that? It is harder to move forward when you're older and you have to start over. And if anybody's watching this and you're young, it is older to start over. It's harder to start over when you're older. Very hard. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind as you move through life and you have a career or you have a business or whatever it is that you're doing to set up yourself. It is a lot harder to start over when you're older. So therefore, learn some strategies how to protect yourself, how to protect your money for your future, how to, even in a union, to still protect yourself. Because a lot of times women get the end of the stick. They get it. Because a lot of times the men are the breadwinner. And if a woman is right there, somehow she's making some sacrifices, because behind successful men, there is a woman. There is a woman, or there are women. Behind successful men, there are women. You may not see them. I was one of them. I was right there in the background pushing, make sure, coming up with the creative ideas and make sure they get implemented. And, we were a team. We were a great team. I saw the future as bright. We're still young. We're full of energy. We're both hardworking. But sometimes in order to secure something for the future, you have to lose your self-respect, and I was not willing to do that. I was not willing to crawl on my knees to get something, right? I was not willing to be treated a certain way to get something. I was not willing to do that. I was not willing to have a woman park at my gate, somebody who was sitting in my car at one point telling me what she wants: money, a car, help with her children. She's in my car telling me that, right? And everything that was promised to me, pension, whatever, she's the one in position to get it now. Straight from Jamaica. I was in for 16 years. Solid. 16 years solid. 16 years solid. When things were not good and there was, support to pay, for children and all that, I was right there, being the good woman, the good wife, what I know how to do, work, take care of, that kind of stuff. I was right there, right? 16 solid years. And somebody comes in and in a matter of less than a year was in. And in a matter of 7 years, I lost my health insurance. That was the one that pained me the most, because the promise was made that if I come over to do this business, I will always have that health insurance. And that was pulled out from under me. And guess who is on it now? Guess who has it? So I'm sharing this with you to say, secure for yourself. Thank God I was able to get health insurance for myself, because, as you get older, health insurance is very important. And I'm in the United States where, anything is possible. So I do have health insurance now, but I had to go look for it for myself. And it's not the same as the one that I would have had, right? That was promised to me. I wouldn't have made certain moves that I made if these things were not promised to me. But remember, I did not have them in writing. It was not binding. The pension was not binding, other than what the law says, right? It was not binding. Health insurance coverage is not binding. Unless someone agrees to that, you're out of luck. I would not want to see another woman who got put in my position 7-8 years ago, because I had to fight my way back. I had to fight my way back in a way that I never thought that I would, because like I said before, I thought we were set. Everything was in place. We were doing good. Now I run a business for myself. I'm going back on some of the dreams that I had for myself to make sure, God's willing, if I live, to see a certain age and I'm retired, or even if I'm not here, my child is going to be okay, to set up my child. I do not want my child to struggle, to suffer starting out the gate, right? I don't want that for her. So a lot of what I do now, and I push, Even if I don't benefit from it, she will. As women, we really have to start thinking about not just how we look, not just our emotional selves, but we have to take our finances into account, because a lot of times we don't. We don't even know what we have. I knew, and that helped me a lot. When I was getting divorced, if I didn't pay attention, please, you have to pay attention. You have to pay attention. I'm not angry, because it happened to me at the right time. It happened to me at the time when I still had spring in my step. It happened to me at the time when I could still think for myself, this is working, right? It happened at that moment when I was like, okay, you need to take charge here, Annette. You need to take charge of your life. And God bless my mother, because my mother always tell us, don't give up your independence to nobody. So I was not totally dependent. I was dependent somewhat, but I still had my independence. And because of that, I was able to get myself up. And of course, I went after what I could, because I helped to build this garden. I want my share. I want my cocoa, irrespective of the names that I was called. Because believe you me, honey, I was called some names, but it didn't matter to me, because I know the truth of what happened here. This garden was built by 2 people. So I want my share. Because in order to start over, I'm not going to start over to let somebody walk in and get everything, which is what happened, You're in Jamaica and you come into America and you're starting over. And instead of trying to start over on your own, you look for women that are married and have established men. And when one wasn't working, you move on to the next one. When one wouldn't give you what you want, you move on to the next one. And the gate was wide open for you to come in, right? But thank God, I'm sharing with you tonight, because I don't want you to be that person. I don't want you to be that person who didn't go after your career, right? I don't want you to be that person who didn't look at your future, whether you're going to do it with a financial planner, somebody that that is, versed in, financial doings, whatever it is. But I want you to know that if you're out there and you're working, right, take the steps to set up your financial investments, your financial health and wealth. Take the time, reach out to somebody. We're on the internet. There are so many people on the internet that you can get information from. Even if you don't do business with them, you can get information. People offer free information all the time. Don't let anybody whisper in your ear and tell you that if you do this for me, baby, I won't leave. And I'm not going to leave you. I'm not going to leave you. We're ride and die, sure. But still protect yourself. Still protect yourself, that should something happen, you are secure. I don't want you to be that old lady that in your old age you're going, okay, Social Security, how much is it? Let me do the numbers, $420 a month. That's nothing. Even if they give you $1,000 a month, that's not a lot. You have a life that you want to live. Even if you're old, even if you're going to the bingo hall, it costs. Access a ride, it costs. Tonight, I just want to come on here and to, talk about this, because reading it and thinking about my own life, I said, I have to say something tonight. And whoever is watching this, if you're watching this, wherever you are, if you're selling green mango, think about it. If you have a career, think about it. If you're walking on the street selling chips, start thinking about it. How am I going to take care of myself? when I get older. And don't depend on anyone. People are people. They can change their minds, right? They can change their minds. And if they do change their minds, I want you to be okay. I want you to be just fine. Okay. So that's it for tonight. I thank you for joining me. Thank you so much. Here on Crack Edges Speak. If you're watching, yes, this is Crack Edges Speak. Monday nights at 8 p.m. Thank you, everyone. Remember to share this. Tell other people to come on and listen and watch. And if anybody wants to be on Crack Edges, feel free to hit me up on Messenger. I have like a couple of people who said they would love to come on. We just have to arrange it, right? So that's it for tonight, folks. Have a great night. Thank you for joining me. Take care of yourselves. And as I always say, take care of yourselves from the inside out. Have a good night. Bye.